Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Over here, we are fine. Sadly, our sourdough starter wasn't any good, and the bread, after nearly 20 hours of rising, didn't. So we have to make the starter all over again, which takes about 7 to 10 days. But we have nothing but time, so we'll give it another shot because we are discovering that we love making bread. On the other hand, my Salisbury steaks last night, which my family said is really just a glorified hamburger, got a C, which isn't so bad, except Mick said he had a bad aftertaste and really never make it again. But that's okay. Lesson learned. Anyway, I was reading a magazine the other day and I came across an article that said at the beginning of the Revolutionary War, Thomas Paine wrote these words: "These are the times that try men's souls." And I thought, gosh, how appropriate those words are for today. I'd include women and children if I wrote the line. This global crisis we currently face has disrupted lives in dramatic and often horrific ways. We see the strain on healthcare workers, millions applying for unemployment. Every cough makes us worry we've got it. Sadly, many of us now know someone who's been touched by it. Our homes have been turned into classrooms, offices, and studios. The anxiety level for many people is extreme and rising every day as they have to remain inside. And daily the numbers rise as more people are infected. And when suffering happens to us personally or as a nation or even a planet, we do think about death more and take it more seriously. Ironically, we are in the midst of Holy Week, my favorite week because it's filled with such raw emotion, truth, sorrow, tragedy, love, joy. It's all of that in 7 days. See, Jesus is preparing to go to the cross. He's facing his own death, and unlike the virus, no vaccine is in the works. But before that day comes, he gathers for a final Passover. We call this day Maundy Thursday. It's just one last opportunity for Jesus to be together with these people, away from the crowds and the noise, to eat with his closest friends, to share with them what at first appears to be this rather ordinary moment. But nothing about that meal will be ordinary, because that night there were things Jesus wanted them to know and remember when he was gone. It's such a strange word, Maundy. It actually comes from the Latin for mandate or command. And at a certain point in the night, after washing the feet of his disciples, Jesus gives the command that would come to mark the event. He says, "A new command I give you. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." Jesus wants his followers to be bound not primarily by family, nationality, race, interest, or anything else. He wants them bound by love. See, Jesus knew that we wouldn't always feel like loving each other, so he commanded it. And the focus isn't on the feeling of love, but on the decision to love. Actually, it's a good thing we've been commanded to love, because after being cooped up with our family these last couple of weeks, for many of you, that love train has come to a screeching halt, and you have to dig deep and decide to keep the love going. You know what is really interesting is that we're told to love everyone, no exceptions. See, in Jesus' eyes, everyone is equal. There is no distinction, just like with this virus. This virus sees no distinction either. Wealthy and poor, politician, factory worker, famous actor, or homeless person. No one is exempt. And although some are more vulnerable than others, it hits equally as hard. So how does this command to love affect us now in this moment we are living through, when we have to be isolated from each other? How do we do it? Well, what I can tell you is it isn't panic buying and hoarding in the supermarkets. It isn't disregarding the guidelines and gathering with folks just because you want to. This love Jesus talks about involves considering others before yourself. And one of the ways to do that is to be safe right now and follow the guidelines, because of course you don't want to catch the virus, but more than that, you absolutely don't want to pass it on to anyone else. It's keeping in touch with folks who may be alone or lonely. And you can do that through the phone, a letter, a card, email. I got homemade Easter pictures yesterday from 3 girls that were in my church but moved to California last year. That's showing love. See, there are still plenty of ways to show that love right now in this time of the coronavirus. Even if that love's gonna, look a little different than usual. We are in a very different time. There's no denying it, no way around it. And for many people, it's not easy adjusting to living like this. I know how tough it is to have to stay home, to have to stay away from our family, our children, our grandkids, our friends, the people we love. I'm struggling with all of that too. Some days this isolation can really get us down. And just when we think we might be turning a corner, we hear that we've had the highest death toll yet. Thomas Paine was right. These are trying times. But as hard as they are, I continue to hold on with hope. You know, hope is defined as having a confident expectation for something good to happen in the future. And that's what I'm hanging on to. That's how we make it through each day. Believing, trusting, hoping that this too will pass. That there will absolutely be a day when I can hold my grandkids again. That we will be back in our churches and the movies and the mall and the parks and the beach, doing all the things we love with the people we love. But while we wait and work at getting through today's challenges, know that the God who was with us then is with us now too. Tonight, churches all around the world would have been packed with people. Some churches might even have washed feet in solidarity with Jesus' actions that night, and we would once again hear the command to love, and we would share in the bread and the cup, remembering Jesus' sacrifice for us on the cross. And I know many are sad because they can't gather in their churches to do that. Me too. But here's what I think. Whenever we gather together for a meal, whether it's at the dinner table, the coffee table, a tray table, or at a fast food restaurant, when we eat and drink and remember Jesus and what he did for us and what he told us to do, serve, give, love, he joins us there. And it becomes a holy moment. It becomes communion. So today, I invite you to pause from the craziness and discord of life during this pandemic and think back on that first Maundy Thursday, that Last Supper that Jesus shared with his closest friends. And try and place yourself there with them, because you see, that night, Jesus called you his friends too. In fact, Jesus prayed for us that night. He prayed that we would be together, but also he prayed that we would be protected from evil and that we would be one, but most of all, that we would know just how much we were loved by him. Well, I hope today you know that, and I hope that'll be enough to fill you with hope that your tomorrow will be better than today. So hang in there. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay home, and please continue washing your hands. Know we will get through this time together. Spread some love and find the blessing. I love you. I'm praying for you. And I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Peace.